Welcome back, guys. I'm Derek, joined by Ray this time, Charles, and David. Welcome to Football Today podcast. How we doing, guys?
Doing great.
It's good to be here.
Crazy weekend. Let's do like we did last time. Let's just go around and quick thoughts on the weekend
before we get. Yeah, Atletico didn't look great, and Barcelona's kind of. I don't know. I'm not where I want to be. I'm not in a good mental space.
All right, Charles. Quick thoughts on the weekend.
Exciting weekend. I'll let Raymond talk more about Man City, Newcastle. But Bayern dominated, and
the game was, like David said, disappointing maybe for Man City. But if you were neutral, it was quite the game to watch.
It was. I did thoroughly enjoy that game. Pretty nuts. Or Chelsea, that side. Chelsea. Is Aubameyang from Barcelona is looking like it's gonna happen. Lots of stuff happening from both sides of the camp. And then yesterday, Aubameyang apparently agreed personal terms with Chelsea, so Chelsea just have to agree on the fee with Barcelona. Barcelona is asking 30 million, and Chelsea think that's way too high. They want to pay like 15. So it's just down to the clubs now. You guys have thoughts on that transfer?
I kind of predicted that with Lewandowski going to Barcelona. There was no way that they were going to have two top tier strikers in the same, and they couldn't start them both. They run a 4-3-3. They couldn't get both strikers in there, and they're both too similar. So, yeah, good for Chelsea. I'm disappointed because it partially bails out Barcelona, but yeah, it wasn't going to work out at Barcelona with Lewandowski and Aubameyang.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good move for Chelsea if hopefully they can work out the fee. And like I said, we'll get into it later. But after today's game, Chelsea needs some offense. They need something. So Aubameyang coming over, hopefully it will help them.
Yeah, for sure, Ray.
Well, I'm not going along with any of that. I think Aubameyang is past his prime. All strikers are number 9 are cursed, so he's going to crash the bird just like
I said this in the last show last weekend. That the two biggest superstitions of Chelsea's right now is that what's his name? Mark Anthony, the referee, every time he officiates our games, he throws the game. And then 2, anybody wearing the number 9 in the club is always going to fail. So those are like the 2 like confirmed suspicions in Chelsea right now because Thomas Tuchel like came out and said it within like the last 3 months that he believes them. So it's stamped and official. Anyway, moving on, another big Premier League move that actually happened is going to happen. It's official. I'm not sure if he's at the camp yet.
We don't want you to leave, but so this is my perception. Talk to them if you want. And so he went and talked to Man U, and basically what's funny about it though, like I thought Casemiro, but I don't feel bad for Man U still.
Got a horrible team, and now Casemiro. I feel sorry for him. I don't know if that was a good move for him or not.
The line, but it's.
Probably Ronaldo.
The fans, the players themselves, you know that they're frustrated, and
yeah. All right, quick thoughts, Ray.
I mean, if you're willing to.
I mean, I think that's why in the last few years the fans are such a thing.
So real quick analysis of that. I get so frustrated with the game. I'm sorry, just having a good team isn't going to get you there. You have to play with a coherent team. Man City's not just the best players that money can buy. They're best players money can buy under the best coach money can buy, and they all fit the system. Man United is so many steps behind that back. They're not close. It doesn't matter how much.
Yeah, and
pretty much.
And Ten Hag has his own system coming over from Ajax. And usually, when you get a new coach coming in, he's going to want, just like Pep Guardiola at Man City, he's going to kind of want to clean house and bring in his style of players. They're getting these players that are past their prime, coming in, or that's not, and players that have a name, but okay, they're not playing with each other. You got all these names on the team, but it's not helping. And one thing right now, they're in relegation. If this stays this way, I feel
they're
sorry
20th.
for Ten Hag. Well, no, I feel sorry for Ten Hag because guess what? He's going to be out come December if they stay this way, and it's not his fault.
Going off of that, so another target that Manchester United is trying to get is Antony from Ajax, so a former player of Ten Hag. So, I think the Glazers are sort of realizing, or sort of like letting the reins go a little bit with Ten Hag, so he can get like some of the players he wants to fit his system, because he probably had like a conversation with them or something, or with the board or whatever, saying, hey, like, I can't do the system that I want with these players that you're giving me. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
The funny thing about that is that system will work if they somehow get the ball out of the backfield. But Brentford exposed them. They said, guess what? You can't play the ball out of the back, and you have no way to figure it out. You don't know what you're doing. They're going to get exposed time and time again by any club that's thinking at all. And the only time it's going to change is when Ten Hag gives up on his game plan, which I don't know if he's ideologically capable of doing.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they went out and got Casemiro, because being a defensive mid, he's going to be the engine room. Maybe he's that spark to get it in the backfield. Only time will tell. We don't know.
Yeah, you have Casemiro, and then you play Eriksen as like center attacking mid.
Yeah,
and then Bruno Fernandes in that 3-2. So it could be like a game changing 3 right there, and then you get Antony as a striker. I mean that could, those 3 players could change everything. So we'll see. All right, let's keep moving on. David, you got any transfers you want to mention?
No, those are the main ones.
Okay. Ray Charles, you got any transfers you guys thinking about?
No.
Nothing. All right, let's move on to game week 3 in European football. Let's start with the Premier League. Oh man, what a game week for the Premier League. Let's go with I guess a easy win, and start out with Arsenal. Arsenal win was I think it's 3-0 over Bournemouth.
Yep.
So I think it's games like these for Arsenal that if they just keep moving, keep winning, like they're going to be easy top 4 or top 3. Like they're already showing, like 3 games in, they're consistent, and that spells big trouble for the top 4, top 5.
Yeah, we talked about this last week on our show. We're kind of giving our predictions, and you guys kind of mentioned, because their lack of a bench, it's a marathon, not a sprint. They're coming out of the gates great, but are they going to be able to sustain this?
Yeah.
So we'll see. But right now, Arsenal looks really good.
I also mentioned this last week about Gabriel Jesus. His movement was spectacular. I think the main thing that Jesus and Zinchenko have allowed for is, well, Zinchenko, and also just the fact that they now have a different attitude on the team. People are making forward runs. People are actually getting in there. They're not afraid to make these runs, and that's what's scoring them a lot of times. Is people make a run, and all of a sudden there'll be one run that's open, and they'll get there. They were too hesitant in the past, and I think that a lot of that had to do with the attitude around the club and around the stadium. And this is changing. So this attitude change could be a much bigger thing than I mentioned earlier. Because I mentioned exactly what Charles said. Their bench isn't deep enough, and if Jesus gets injured, then they won't be able to pull it. But maybe this attitude change is really what they needed. I know every single coach in the Premier League talks about this all the time. You have to have the winning attitude, and it's looked fantastic from Arsenal so far.
Yeah, and Odegaard, he scored 2 goals.
Do you see something by any
Scored in
chance?
the 5th and scored in the 31st. So, there's another player right there. But I don't know if you guys watched, what's that one on, was it Inside Arsenal, or what's that called? On
Amazon?
On Amazon, they have the sport. This year is about Arsenal, and that's what thing Arteta was talking about on there, was bringing back that winning attitude and the players having to believe in themselves and forgetting the past. If you make a mistake, great, learn from it, forget it, and move on. And maybe that's sinking in. So
one of the funny things about what Arsenal's been doing is, because they want 5 attackers up there, and Partey's covering back, and some other guys, they have Xhaka up really high. I don't know if that's who they want really high. So he's done great for the club, but maybe they need another center midfielder.
Yeah. Thoughts, Ray? No. Golf. All right. Let's move on. All right. Here's a game you're going to talk about, Ray. We'll let Ray start first. So, Man City, Newcastle, 3-3. What an amazing game! It is total entertainment, 100%. My favorite part of the game is, quick note, Kieran Trippier's free kick. It was just like, mwah. It's like beautiful. Anyway, go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, if you were neutral, this was like a very entertaining game, back and forth, tons of chances from each team. You had VAR reversing red cards and then granting goals, and it was just it was really good. I was able to check up on the Ake situation. I guess he had a groin injury, and that's why he was out in the 20th minute. And so, that definitely probably had an impact on there, I think, because Man City was up 1-0 at that time, and then Newcastle was able to go up with 3 later in the game into the second half, and then Man City with 2 quick goals to tie it. But yeah, very, very entertaining. I think on Man City side, probably a bit disappointing playing an inferior team, going down that big and having to scrap to get a draw out of that. Newcastle, probably satisfied with that, probably kicking themselves that they did have Man City at 3-1 and then weren't able to hold on to that in the second half, but at the same time can keep their chin up on being able to draw the Premier League champions from last year. So, yeah, entertaining game. Just that's what we watch football for.
Yeah. And if you watch the interview afterwards, Guardiola had nothing but praise for Howe and Newcastle, and they said, "Wow, they're an amazing team." And he said they're for real, and they're going to be challenging soon. So I don't know if he was just kind of hyping it up because it was a draw and they played well, but it's good respect from one of your top managers in the EPL.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I'll unleash. So my opinion is that the Newcastle, they are the richest club in the world. They should be competing against Man City. They still played like a team that is on the bottom half of the table and was competing against the top half. I understand that. That's the exact situation you're in. You just because you bought some players doesn't mean that you're actually a good team now. So the Callum Wilson goal, the announcers were like, "Oh, what a touch." That he touched it twice, and the first one was on purpose. The second one was completely accident, and just laid it out like perfect for him. So stuff like that, that's how soccer goes. That's how football goes. There's going to be chances. I understand that. So Man City was disappointed in that, and Newcastle was lucky. And like you said, that Trippier goal, incredible. so I'll give Newcastle
So
all
good.
the things that they did well. They did fantastic. I think they should have only been 2 up, but my disappointment is that Man City, even after all that, it was kind of mental lapses that let them down, and then they couldn't put it away. What I would like to say though is for all the people already hating on Erling Haaland, if that first goal with Gundogan, that's a perfect example of how important he is. Both center backs were just watching Erling Haaland the whole time. They're like, "Oh, what's Erling Haaland going to do?" They chip it right over to Gundogan, boom, it just taps it in. Guess what? That's going to mess with so many teams, and he should have had more. His right-footed shot was incredible, fantastic save. Newcastle's
It was a
keeper
really
was
good
on
save.
fire. So I have nothing but praise for like the way Newcastle's trying and their attitude, but they're not there yet. This was a lower
No,
team
yeah.
trying to get out there and trying to act like they're there. And so fantastic, fake it till they make it. They're not there yet.
No, I know, I agree, but they didn't have. I mean, even though they got a new owner, richest club in the world, they didn't really make that many transfers this year. They only made a couple, so I think transfers are going to be coming winter and next summer to make them a top notch team. But this year, no, you're right. I mean, they just played up to the team that they played because the last 2 weeks they kind of struggled. If you really watch the other games they played, it was kind of lackluster offense, not much going on. They couldn't get things working. Maybe they were focusing more on this game because they knew it was coming up. I don't know, but you're right. They're not there yet. They just played above their level this time. But I think in the future, I think you're going to see something special. They're going to be enough. I personally think if they are the richest club in the world and this owner is serious, they're probably going to try to emulate Man City what their owner did, and just maybe in the next year or two clean house, bring in players that they want, and then they're going to be a top four club from here on out. But they're
If they're
not there yet.
smart
Could
at
be.
all, their fans are just so happy that they're getting some kind of investment. They should just slowly don't buy expensive older players.
Yes.
Buy younger players that you don't have to pay out of your nose for, because everyone knows that you have the money, and so that means that they're going to try to rip you off. So buy younger players and build them up and slot them into the team one by one, and put them into the team as they fit perfectly. Just find the right puzzle pieces. Don't find, like, I don't know who the next big thing is. Don't go out and sign Mbappe. Imagine Mbappe in that team where he has no service. He would go nuts immediately. Just stuff like that. Play it smart, little by little, improve the team, and I would be very happy with Newcastle if they did that.
Yeah.
I don't dislike Newcastle. I like Newcastle. I was just disappointed with Man City. They, some mental mistakes and then not putting it away.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that about don't go out and buy players because was a few weeks ago they were talking about Newcastle looking at Messi. Messi's not going to go to Newcastle. I'm sorry, and even if he was there, it's not going to work. So yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. They need to look at Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea how they're doing it. Not look at Man U. And
Yeah.
just buy names. They need
Yeah.
to be, particular in who they get and fit their system.
Yeah. All right, let's move on from Man City Newcastle game and go to Leeds with Chelsea at home. So, or Leeds at home to Chelsea. There you go. I'm just gonna say, like, straight from the off, like, as soon as Koulibaly got that foul, he got the yellow card, I was like, it's gonna be one of those games. Yeah, like straight from what it was, like 15 minutes in, you
It
could
was
see
it was
like,
just a little tug back, right? He like
yeah,
the guy got by him and he just tugs him back, and you're like,
yeah,
"Cool ball, that's stupid of you. That's
yeah.
immediate out."
You could just feel like the whole first half. I mean, it was a different system from what Tuchel was running, so I think Tuchel was experimenting. And so I think the blame is solely on him, because as soon as we changed system in the second half, we opened up and we started attacking, and most of our chances came in the second half. It was just we couldn't put it away, and it's too little, too late. So, and then
Question:
the Koulibaly red card was just second card accumulation. So it's is what it is.
quick question: who was Mendy angry at when he gave up that goal to Aronson?
That's a very good question. I don't know. Should be angry at himself, honestly, because like he pulled off a De Gea, so like
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing. No idea.
Well, the reason I'm wondering is because you said that Tuchel was changing the system, so I wonder if he was frustrated because he didn't have the outlet he needed based on the system they're going for.
Yeah, because I think we were still playing wingbacks with Cucurella and James, but we had I think we had Loftus Cheek as like a holding defensive midfielder, like not a center back, like because he would go forward a lot, and so that restricted him from tracking back and helping out and creating that back three, and so the whole first half was like a back four pretty much. And then Leeds would grab it and come out and get on the counter attack, and like all their players are fast, so yeah.
My only comments on the game are if Reece James had been in the position where Loftus Cheek was when that ball bounced out to him, and Loftus Cheek I think took that Rodrigo the header, that was a glancing header, that goes in probably only like 25% of the time.
Far post, yeah. Ray Charles, thoughts?
I only watched part of the game because I was busy watching other games today. But the little bit that I did see, maybe it was the first half where you said maybe you were trying something new, because what I saw was Leeds looked like, at least that few minutes I was watching, were dominating, and Chelsea looked like they were on their back feet. And every time Chelsea got the ball to try to do something, it didn't work, and Leeds was on the attack again. So maybe it was like you said, Derek, about Tuchel and trying something new. Maybe it was another case. Leeds was like Newcastle, and they were up for this game, going, hey, they had this on their calendar preseason, going, okay, we in game 3, we're playing Chelsea at home. This is the game we're looking forward to. You never know. Yeah, you don't know what goes on in the locker room, but Leeds looked impressive today, and so yeah, Chelsea's gonna have to figure it out.
Ray?
Well, I would disagree with that. I think we definitely knew what was going to happen from the get-go. Let's see. If we go back like a week or so, right, and we have the infamous handshake between Conte and Tuchel there. So there's no doubt that in that handshake, Conte put an Italian curse onto Tuchel and the Chelsea team, and they were destined to lose this week. So hopefully it's done by next week for your sake, Derek.
You think it's a timed curse? It should run out.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
Black spot or something on there. You better get ready.
The curses out of time stamps.
Wow.
Like football, but it's just the little mysterious things that predetermine everything.
Yeah. Do you think Chelsea's gonna figure out their game plan? Because it seems to me like you're right that Tuchel's exploring, and I don't know. Like Charles was saying that they're missing like their strike, like they don't have like the cutting edge. Yeah. I just feel that they're
Werner's at Leipzig.
Go for it. Sorry, what?
No, I said Werner's at Leipzig.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just they're missing something, or maybe like other teams have figured them out, or something. Because I love the idea of what they're doing, and it just hasn't been working.
Yeah, we're definitely still missing our attacking vibe, because we have the midfield. We have Jorginho, we have Conte, we have Colin Gallagher, Mason Mount, Loftus Cheek. Like we have the midfield. It's just we don't have yes, we have Havertz, and Havertz Aurora is only there because he scored the Champions League final goal. Pretty much there. That's it. And he scores goals like here and there. That's why we brought Sterling, so he can feed off Havertz. But Sterling's short. Like he can't hold up anybody really. He can just drop in, take the ball, dribble through people, and maybe get a shot off. And so if we don't have like all out striker, it's it's really hard. I mean, because it's not really hard because Liverpool and Man City has been doing it for the last couple seasons without like a number 9.
Different styles though. Different styles.
So I mean, it's possible, but with Tuchel's style, like you said, David, like it's really hard without that number 9. So,
but don't worry, Derek. Aubameyang's coming, and he's going to be Chelsea's savior, just like he was Arsenal. Oh
wait. Too soon, Derek, or too soon, Ray? Too soon.
Too soon. Salt in the wound there. All right.
The transfer's not even completed.
Yeah. It's still transfer season. Come on.
Well, Derek. I mean, I was kind of joking with David about the Werner thing, but do you think that he is kind of they're missing him a little bit? Yes, the fans down in Chelsea were kind of upset because they thought he'd come in, score all these goals like he did at Leipzig, but the EPL is a little bit different. But he was an attacking presence, even though he didn't score a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
and he did feed the ball. So do you think they're missing that aspect?
I think we're missing the fact that because also the Champions League final, how Havertz scored the goal was Werner pulled 2 defenders away with his wide run left. He pulled 2 defenders and opened up Hazard. So we didn't really get a chance to see Havertz, Werner, Sterling, or Sterling, Werner, Pulisic, or Havertz, Pulisic, Werner. Well, we saw that last season, but the combination with Sterling in there.
Yeah.
So who knows? Like he didn't really have an effect last couple of seasons when he came. Barely scored any goals. Was bullied a lot by the defenders. So who knows?
Yeah.
Yep.
And what about Pulisic? What's with him?
He's played every game so far. Just came in second half, but again, also hardly had an effect. He had the after Hazard effect because when we sold Hazard injured, that injured to Real Madrid, and we brought in Pulisic. It just like every other player coming from Dortmund to like EPL team or La Liga team or whatever, like they're hot, they're on fire, and they come to a bigger league or a more upscale league and or bigger defenders in the Premier League. Like his initial season scored, I think he's like 10, 12 goals.
Yeah.
So he did pretty decent, and we got really excited. We're like, this is the next Hazard. Like, it's just going to take him a couple seasons. And then 4 seasons later, we're like, okay, dude, come on. So, I don't know.
Well, maybe managers and defenders, when they're new, they come in, they don't know what to expect. And then once they realize, okay, this is their style, now we know how to defend them. Now we know how to, and that's why they kind of tail.
Yeah. Well, it's on the players to adjust to the Premier League defenders too.
Yeah.
So they need to adjust their style of play to that, which, some players may take more than 3-4 seasons. But at that time, you're already looking to get out of that team. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's. Go ahead, Ray.
I was just comedic relief here, or he just has a clause in his contract where he's required to warm the bench 60 minutes before he can enter a game.
Yeah, because there was those because we talked about it last week. There's rumors that now Newcastle is interested in Pulisic. They're trying to go after him.